Well, hi there. It is just gone 7 o'clock and time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit, and let's shit in the box. I have spent the last couple of days entirely consumed by playing Kinggath's Watchtower, which is a really excellent creation. It really has high production values, and he's done an extraordinarily good job of designing the quest. Although it does kind of follow the same process as the main quest in Starfield, because you take Watchtower intel to Harper, and she tells you where to find listening posts, and you go to the listening post and it tells you where to find a Watchtower array, and you go to the Watchtower array and you destroy it. This is really kind of the same thing as talking to Vlad, going to get an artifact, and then going to a temple. So it's that looping process is pretty much the same thing. And the funny thing is that while I heard people complain to no end about the repetitive nature of going to 24 temples, nobody says shit about going to 50 Watchtower arrays. I guess that's because you're shooting your weapons instead of jumping through little sparkly things. I don't know, but the whole loop on that is pretty much the same. I am particularly impressed by the way that you find the Watchtower arrays, because you can go to Harper and you can give her Watchtower intel, or you can just give her money, or you can go to an area that you know the Watchtower are surveilling, and you can just search planets and look for a listening post, and you can find one fairly quickly. So so the loop does have some variation in it. You do have kind of options in how you approach it and how you take it on. It's a bit confusing when you start out, because you've got these 3 quests, and they're in your activities section, and those are the ones you're supposed to be working on. But you've also got this big quest in the main quest section that says, hey, clear out these systems. But you have to do it using the activities in the activities section, which is a little confusing. I don't think it's very well explained, but I also don't know how you would explain it in game without jumping out of it and going, hey, look at this part of your quest log. Anyway, we're in the home stretch now. I've wiped out all of the Watchtower arrays. I'm now at the point where all I have left to do is the final mission. But I haven't done it yet because I'm tired. I've been doing all these. I've been going Watchtower array to Watchtower array to Watchtower array for 2 days, and oh man, it's been fairly vicious. But there were some concerns that I had about it that I feel like I should address, just in case other people have the same concerns. Having your fleet with you does in fact make encounters in the main game extraordinarily easy. But you can tell your fleet to, like, fuck off when you're not fighting Watchtower. The fleet only shows up when you fight Watchtower, and then they go away when you're fighting regular guys. That's a setting in your game options that you can change, and you can also change your ships to defensive instead of offensive. You can tell them to follow at a farther distance, so on and so forth. I just leave everything at the defaults. And one of the things I've been playing with is trying to get some kind of setup so I can still capture ships. It doesn't work very well. What I was thinking was if I just outfit all of my fleet with EM weapons, then then they can't actually destroy ships. They just disable them. But that didn't work out very well. So so now I've got them just like absolutely destroying everything they come across. I've got them outfitted with Vanguard particle beams and Hellfire cannons. So yeah, they're just like tearing through everything. It's ridiculous. Another thing I was concerned about was the mechs. I don't like the orbital drop mechanics. I mean, they're well designed, and there's a lot of variety, and there are a lot of options, and it's a lot of fun to play with. But I don't really like that as a natural, normal method of combat. I am mostly a stealthy, snipery kind of guy, and what I found was that, number one, yeah, you can take a tricked out mag sniper, and you can take out mechs without using an orbital strike. It uses most of the magazine, but you can take the mech out. Furthermore, like most things, the mechs are really not that great against starborn powers. Just, you drop solar flare on them 3 or 4 times, and they just burn to death, which works out well for me. I think it's fun. And Watchtower isn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. It is very combat heavy, and there are some kind of hairy firefights. It really feels like this is kind of catering toward the people who want the chaos of a major military engagement. And I'm not too keen on that. You know, I like to work alone. I like to use my sniper rifle. I like to just take people out one by one, battle of attrition. And that does work well in Watchtower, whereas, you know, I thought maybe it wouldn't. I was very concerned about it demanding that you have to use the orbital strike. I'm guessing that it'll demand orbital strikes at some point in the final mission. It'll say, hey, you have to use orbital strike missiles. So I have some, and I have the little grenades that, like, you could drop the flares. I just don't want to use them. I do feel like I'm going to be forced to use them in the final story mission, but I'm not too fussed about that. You were forced to use them in the first missions, and I kind of feel like I got to play the game my way all through the middle, having to follow a few rules in the first and last missions. That's okay. I'm not too fussed about it. But yeah, the repetitive nature of the whole thing, that whole loop of talk to Harper, go to a listening post, kill everything at the listening post, find the Watchtower array, go kill the Watchtower array, kill the ships that are guarding the Watchtower array, repeat. And you do that a lot of times. So, I don't know, I feel like if Bethesda had released this, if it had the Bethesda name on it, people would be far more critical of it than they are with it being from Kinggath. He's done a great job. The whole team has done an amazing job. It's like the graphics are great, the textures, the modeling, the installations, everything that's put together. The variations in how you get into the installations. Sometimes there's a switch that needs to be provided with power, and sometimes there's a computer that you need to find the password, and sometimes there's a vent that you need to unlock and climb through, and there are so many different options, and they're combined in interesting ways. Like sometimes you have to power the switch to open the room that contains the password for the computer. Sometimes you have to find the password to the computer to open the room that has the vent to go in and make your way into the middle of the installation, and it's really cool. Probably my favorite variation is when you show up and there are a half dozen terrormorphs merrily slaughtering everybody. And you can just kind of sit there and let that happen if you want. You just go, hey, who's going to win? The terrormorphs can, in fact, take out the mech. I don't know whether that says something really scary about the terrormorphs or really lame about the mechs. But it is interesting to watch that because the terrormorphs do, like, possess Watchtower soldiers that make them fight against their own men. And just watching that whole system play out is really fascinating. And it just kind of happens. And it's one of those things. Todd Howard said, it just works. And everybody goes, it doesn't just work. It breaks all the time. No, like a lot of the time, it just works. And it's truly impressive the way it just works. Like looking at all of those systems work together, looking at the Watchtower trying to use their tactics against the terrormorphs, and the terrormorphs trying to use their tactics against the Watchtower, and the mech trying to blow them up, and the terrormorphs trying to kill the mech, and just all of that is just, it's just emergent, you know? And one of the things I run into a lot is there's so much stuff going on that there are natural limits in the creation engine, where you can only have so many physics objects at a time, and you can only have so many AI processes running at a time. So if there's too much stuff that's trying to run AI processes, some of it will just freeze because there's too much shit trying to run. And if you're causing a whole lot of chaos, if you're blowing shit up and you're knocking things over and you got all kinds of crap going on, especially with the mechs throwing out explosives and shit, if you're causing too much chaos, a couple of things will fall off the end of the physics engine and just get stuck in midair. And that's just the physics engine going, okay, fuck it, I did that thing. I'm not worrying about that thing anymore. And it's always something dumb that doesn't matter, like a gun or a dead body. But I guess it's funny. But that's an optimization that's designed to prevent your game from just like going into a loop. Mechs get stuck in stuff a lot when they ragdoll because they're big and they get into some very tight places. And they get wrapped up in stuff, but that happens for technical reasons, and I'm not too fussed about it. Anyway, on top of that, I've been working with McLaren's, and the thing about McLaren's is that you have to kind of plod and grind your way through getting armor mods extracted until you can extract weapon mods. And of course, knowing that you'll be able to extract weapon mods, you've been stashing away weapons. So when they could finally process weapons, I had 120 weapons waiting to be processed. And I did them in batches of 20, so it wouldn't lock things up. But I did think about just running all 120 of them through, but I ended up not doing that. I've been kind of sticking to vanilla stuff in Kinggath's Watchtower, because well, I did install high level weapons again, and I do have cryomancers installed, so so I can get better weapons from cryomancers in the high level weapons mod. But I've just been using tricked out modified versions of vanilla weapons. Like I took an advanced Beowulf to a weapon workbench, added a bunch of mods to it. That's what I've been using to take out mechs. And I took a mag sniper and I tricked that out, and I used that to take out mechs. And that's I'm trying not to kind of force a collaboration of creations. There's one more video coming. There's one more video coming on Monday before Free Lanes and Terran Armada drops. So so you can bet that Wednesday's video is going to be all about Starfield again. I'm all about Starfield right now. I haven't been this excited about a release since, well, Starfield. And Starfield was the first time I was that excited about a release since Cyberpunk 2077. And Cyberpunk was dog shit. So I was very unhappy with that. And I was very happy with Starfield. Starfield made me very happy. They did a good job on that. What was it before that? Oh yeah, Stardew Valley. I was really excited for Stardew Valley. And Stardew Valley was excellent. It was just that it doesn't suit me because there's an optimal path through the game and it's easy to fuck up. So it's just I kind of get paralyzed on that. I have the same problem with my time at Portia. And I was thinking about picking up my time at Sandrock, and I was like, no, I'll have the same problem I have with my time at Portia, where I start playing and go, oh no, I did it wrong, I got to start over. Oh no, I did it wrong, I got to start over. And I don't like that. I don't like that level of anxiety and stress in my games anymore. Bethesda makes nice stress-free games. I enjoy that. Anyway, that's about all I have to say. I hope I was in some way helpful if you're looking at Watchtower and thinking about whether or not to get it. I was worried about a lot of stuff, and I really shouldn't have worried. Kinggath did a really great job. I'm always concerned that no matter how professional a creator looks, that they're going to turn out to be some shit engineer that's just working in his basement because they can't get a real job. But Kinggath is a class act. Every time I've seen him do an interview or a live stream talking about his work, consummate engineer, just a really, really great developer, a great programmer, a great designer. So, so I'm very happy with that. And I'm going to go and take a nap, and then I'm going to go wrap up Watchtower and probably spend some time grinding on my clearance over the weekend, and maybe do a couple of other things. I still have the escape stuff, and I haven't really dug into the Falkland ship outfitter. I haven't really dug into that stuff much, and I should. I wanna play around with that. Watchtower is a hard thing to have in your game because I haven't been able to do anything else. Watchtower came and started annoying me almost immediately upon starting New Game Plus, and I got roped into that, and that's like the first thing I've done. I haven't even been to the lodge yet, so I don't know. I don't know if it's going to stay in my load order. It may be something that I add to my load order later in the game. Like I start off playing without it and then I add it later. I think that may be the way to do it. Anyway, like I said, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. Okay, bye.